I was having a conversation with somebody the other day about perception, how we have our own perceptions and each person has their own perception. And the person I was talking to was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean. What's this perception stuff? And I was trying to kind of explain it like depending on how we are in our own bodies is how we perceive things. So you notice this a lot when you see on, let's say there's a community post on a Facebook page and someone has put up a post and they've written like, I was walking along the beach today and I happened to see 5 dead fish just on the sand. So that person is just curious as to why they saw that. They're curious to ask other people if they saw that. They're not making a giant drama out of it. It's just like I'm just asking a question. And then you could get, you can get different replies from different people which are coming from their perception of how they view life. If somebody loves to create drama and loves to over-exaggerate everything, then they're going to comment and say, I saw the same thing, but I saw 50 dead fish. And then somebody else can say, well, I actually saw somebody pouring chemicals into the water. And then someone else can come in with their theory and it's Project Bluebeam. The world is out to get us. There's powers bigger than us that are out to kill us all, kill the wildlife, kill all of us. And then there'll be someone else that say it's just Mother Nature. It's the course of the way nature runs. So each person you could all be standing on the beach, 5 different people standing there looking at exactly the same scene, but seeing something different because of who we are. And that's not a problem. That's not a problem in people viewing things how they want. The problem is when I feel like my version is right and everyone else is wrong. Because I want everybody else to see things the same way that I see things. Because then it'd be so much easier. It'd be so easy if everyone could see things the same way as me, wouldn't it? There wouldn't be any challenges then. But we can't. We've all had different experiences in our life. We are all on different journeys and we're all going to see things differently. The key to coming to a higher sense of understanding is looking at another person, understanding where they're coming from, not having to agree, but having a respect. Just respecting that is their view. Whatever is going on in their head, whatever is going on in their life is why they are seeing it in that way. Exactly the same for me. Someone else might be looking at me and going, why are you coming to that conclusion? It's about trying to be in both perceptions. Like, I understand your perception. This is my perception. That's it. You don't have to make them. You don't have to keep arguing until they see things. And this is why I see a lot of people when they're typing in comments, they are so triggered because they're trying to explain their perception and no one's listening. What if somebody just said, what if you were explaining yourself and someone just said to you, I hear you, I get what you're saying. They don't have to agree with you because that sometimes that's enough. That's just enough to be heard and to be understood. Then there's that feeling of, okay, they hear me, they understand me. It doesn't mean they're going to see things the same way as me, but now I feel validated. Because we all are looking for some form of validation. I had a person that had been through sexual assault when they were young. I've also experienced sexual assault when I was young. I view that situation as something that happened in the past, which I have chosen to grow from, and to understand that the person who was invading my space and doing things to me that I didn't want to as a child, it took me to adulthood to come to a realization that their way of thinking was very, very different to my way of thinking. And it's not that it's not so much a forgiveness of a wrongdoing, it's more of a understanding of where they were in their mind. And I just happened to be in their space. If it wasn't me, it was going to be somebody else. And it was a way of kind of just releasing it. It's there, it's a memory, and it's there, it's part of my growth, but it's not something I want to be a victim about. But I was speaking with somebody else who had been through something similar, and they were still labeling themselves with post-traumatic stress disorder and victimhood. They wanted to be in that space, and they were with somebody who didn't understand it. The person that they were with, their partner at the time, was, well, that happened years ago. Can't you get over it? You've got medication, you know, you've had therapy, you've had years and years of therapy. Can't you get over it? I could see both sides. Like, I could see her needing to hang on to that. It was defining her. And it was also, she was using it as a way that she couldn't do other things. So any time I would say, well, can you do this? No, I've got post-traumatic stress disorder. Well, could you do this to make something better? No. Like, she was holding on to it. And that's a choice. This, her partner was finding it really, really difficult because her partner had never, ever had anything like that done to him. He had absolutely no concept of what it felt like. So instead of him just sitting and listening to her talk and listening to her explain what does it feel like to be violated, and just listening and then saying, I can hear you. I don't know how it feels because I haven't had it happen to me, but I can listen to you and I can honor what you're feeling. And I think if that conversation had happened, it may have helped her to not hang on so tightly to something that happened 30 years ago and was still defining her life to this day. It's, you know, we come across people where we're trying to heal parts of us. I think, like, when we hang on to the past so tightly, it doesn't help us move forward. It's just, it holds us in this energy that doesn't help us to move forward. So if you're in any kind of situation where you can't, you're sort of battling heads against somebody because the way that you're perceiving it is totally different to them, can you see it from their perspective? And can you let them know that they've been heard and understood? Because I'm really sure that if you say to somebody, I've tried this myself, if I've said to somebody who's on the total opposite to me, I hear what you're saying. I actually had a debate once with this guy about people landing on the moon back in the 60s. My personal thought, I mean, I was home from school that day and I watched it on TV. And for a long, long time, I thought it was real. But now I've changed my perception and I don't believe they actually went there. Now, he was part of a TV production crew at the time, and they were involved in it. So they thoroughly believed that it was happening because they were involved in it. And it was kind of like it was getting to be not an argument, but it was a debate on what I viewed things and my questioning and how he viewed him and his questioning. But at the end of the conversation, I just said, well, I respect the way that you see things. And it's different to the way I see things. And he was the same with me. I respect the way you see it. And we just went on and we changed subjects and went off to, and that's very healthy. That's honouring somebody else and respecting other people to say, well, we have a difference of opinion. And that's all it is. It doesn't need to get nasty. You don't need to make other people see things the same way that you see things. And coming to that acceptance makes for a very peaceful existence.